All right, everybody, welcome to another wrestling podcast. It's me, JB, just checking in today with an incredible talent, somebody that if you don't know about this person, then you're going to soon. And I just want to welcome you. Thank you so much, MLW standout Ikuro Kwon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome. So, real quick, I just want to say again, I'm fairly new to seeing you and what you can do, and super impressed, and just in the world of professional wrestling, so excited that you're a part of that landscape. And speaking of that landscape, you are a part of MLW, which has just grown leaps and bounds over the years. And my question to you is just, what does it mean to you to be a part of MLW, and what do you think MLW offers that other places don't?
Man, being a part of MLW, this time around, it feels right. It feels like home. First time around, I was very young. I was about a year and a half into the business, and just didn't really have anything to stand on. And yet I was thrown into the main event, main faction picture, which was incredible for experience and learning wise, and figuring things out and being able to, know how to listen for the right advice. But I didn't stand on my own. And this time around, I feel like I know who I am. I'm not scared to be who I am. And I think that's something that was the big shift. And I think that's what, when I look at the grand, the overall picture of what things equate to, is me changing my attitude and changing my confidence level and changing my training, and all of that leads to not only I think things like this, but you know people like yourself who want to be able to talk to me about it. Before I really wouldn't do that many interviews, right? Because why would I didn't talk. None of that stuff. Why? Because I was very nervous to not step on toes and things. But this time, it was me saying, no, I'm not going to shut up, because I don't. I'm a kid from New York. I'm gonna be me. And what MLW offers that no other company does, not that they can't, but I haven't seen it, is the representation of anybody, where talent's first. I think, in a sense, where and not just talent within the ring, but talent in the coachability, talent within what the larger picture of what it is. I am the one of very few Asian American wrestlers who are at a platform that could be representing at a high level. Um, Guarantee that most people who have never seen my indie stuff or seen me do other interviews and things, and they'll watch this, they damn sure don't think I'm gonna sound like this. They damn sure don't think that I'm gonna, come off the, and again, not even that it's not an act or none of that, but I mean in the sense where you don't think that. I mean, there's a weird stigma where it's either New Japan, or that that's it. There's no in between of different representation of stuff. So the first time, even with the Ikuro Kwon character, it's okay, a ninja, we had never seen that before, right? Even in the sense where the first stint in Contra, about making, figuring out a name that fit, right, and stuff like that, and how I say the story that was so funny because they didn't we're going over these different names. I wasn't really clicking with any of them yet, and the names that were there in Contra already was Simon Gotch, Jacob Fatu, and Joseph Samael. They said that they wanted me to have an exotic, different type of name, because that's what Contra was all about. And I was like, why not change my name? Because the rest of the guys are Jacob, Simon, and Joseph. So right, so that's how I was thinking about it. But then I realized, okay, there's the business side to it too, being able to give the fans in a general sense what they are expecting based on looks, and then you give them you. Where before they were kind of waiting for me to give them me, but I just didn't do it. Now me saying, no, this is me first, and you're gonna understand who Ikuro Kwon is because you're getting me. And MLW saying, oh, here are the reins, go. That type of respect where MLW trusts my thought process because of how I come across with it, how they know I'm not an idiot about it. They know that I do things outside of wrestling that are that are important, that are of value. Where I want to be able to do this all the time, do media and promote MLW, promote myself, promote the championship, promote the shows that we're doing. Knowing that I can advocate and speak. Where again, shout out to all Asian wrestlers. Not everybody can do this way. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. So being able to show that that's possible. Every time I do an interview and they ask you about certain things, whether it's about representation, whether it's about, my legacy and things like that, I say, I'll give you 6 hours. Tell me your top 5 favorite Asian American world champions. Tell me your top 5 Asian American Royal Rumble winners. Tell me your top 5 favorite. You can go down the list. There's none. I can even say,
Yep.
listen, take 10 posters from last weekend. Give me 15 of us. Give me 10 of us. Give me 5 of us. It's not happening. And again, like I think in life, I'm used to it anyway. Like in school, I was kind of like the only one. Parties, I was the only one. Like any of my, exes or even my wife now, like I was the only one, first and only, right? So I'm used to that aspect of it. But like I'm starting to kind of figure out not so much why, but like understanding how we can make a positive change from that. It's not being about being bitter. It's understanding that in every renaissance of something, there's got to be a blueprint. It may not happen in my lifetime of that, but because, we're entertainment, because we're always growing, because we have people who are smart. Like, again, I want to give a shout out to Kevin Koo specifically for being able to be that a huge pillar. Is that sometimes being the blueprint means you have to be the example to even bring it up in the conversation. So that's what I'm trying to do. Meanwhile, still not trying to be a martyr, but being able to utilize MLW's platform and gift and kindness that they gave me and belief system to say, no, we think you can, and we're going to give you the chance to be that person. They helped me with CMLL to be the first Korean ever in the Grand Prix, to be the first Korean probably MLW tag team champion with a Japanese legend, right? Like any of the things I understand might be the first up. So I'm not tipping my hat and taking, drinking champagne because I'm the first up. I understand I'm going to be the first to do a lot. Not in a sense of like I'm the best, but in the sense where it's never been done because people didn't know that it could happen or that there was someone who could carry that. So I take very much pride in MLW trusting me to promote not only their shows, not only to promote their product, know that I can do that, but also carry a championship that has so much lineage like Kojima and Nakamura. Like, what? Right? Like I'm looking in this ring and at the same time, it's like that outer body experience type deal. And then when that 3 count happens and I'm looking at him and he hands me the title and we're raising it, I'm looking at him like, you're Suzuki. I got to get that out of my head because now we're champions. So no more fandom, but in the sense we're like, how much I can learn and even them doing that for me and him, because teaming with Suzuki isn't a one-man decision. It's a lot of people, including him, to say, yeah, I'm down for it. You know what I mean? So that's another sign that the chances and opportunities that they gave me were lined up for me to deliver on them. Because I think at the same time, any major company is sometimes going to throw a bone here or there, but at the same time, there's also too much reputation and money and things like that on the line to just give someone a chance to mess up.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I'm always going to advocate for MLW and the staff and the producers they have there is, again, not because they like me, but like in the sense for like, they allowed me to show them why they like me in the sense. And I mean, like, we have to give them a reason to. So to make a long answer out of a short question, that would be what it is.
That's awesome. So, you mentioned it briefly, CMLL, obviously you all partner with CMLL and, nowadays we hear a lot about forbidden doors and doors opening and all those things. So, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, obviously MLW is your home right now, but, do you all like, obviously I think one of the best parts about wrestling is actually just being a fan of everything. I know a lot of people get really tribal about it and everything, but is there anybody that you see on your radar in the future that that may not be currently with MLW or CMLL that you would like to lock horns with?
Man, it's funny, right? Because there's every match that I've been having, like pretty much my whole career, because I haven't had that many matches. Again, not by choice. It's just kind of how it goes down. But I'm always impressed by who I have by who I have next. Because there's always because at this point now I realize that I'm not going to be in any matches that don't matter. Which is again is something that I really take pride in. So as far as who's not in MLW anymore, I feel like I've always wanted to wrestle Jacob just because of the stories there anyway, and just how much respect and love I have for him. I mean that's my bro. So it's like being able to share a ring with him in that sense of it, because we never really got to do that one on one. But like again, like it's hard to not get my tunnel vision off of MLW because there's so much work that has to be done now. There's so many people here. Like this locker room is so stacked. Like it's like to differentiate from to somewhere else. Like it's almost like you're losing out right here. Like me and Alex Kane got to go at it. I mean, he's a former world champion. Me, Kojima got to have a one-on-one. You know what I mean? I'll beat Akira's ass again. That's fine. You know what I mean? I'll do that again. But then then in a larger scale, like there's Riddle, there's Mad Justice, there's there's Mystico there. Like there's now we got there's just, and then you never know who's gonna be coming in now too. There's Dijax here now. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot. There's a lot. And at the same time, too, I also know that me holding this and me waving that Trotter flag, I'm on a lot of people's list now, too. And so that's another thing, too, where I got to keep my head on a swivel with that way, because everybody wants this. We got people teaming up that aren't even teams just because they have it, because they know what's going to happen if we have everything. So I think that's something that I'm more focused on is making sure that like these three letters are like household, and that these championships are like, this is what people are getting up in the morning and training for, is trying to get these. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I just want to say, I mean, you briefly mentioned Jacob Fatu. Obviously, everyone knows now as part of the bloodline. You had specific history with him in the Contra unit. For anyone who hasn't watched any of that, you should definitely go check that out. It was an incredible faction. Where do you, and I know you're not like looking to rank or anything like that, but where do you put Contra, like in its current form, up against other factions, main factions that we see in the world of wrestling? What sets you apart from the Judgment Days and the Bloodlines and all of that?
Man, I think it's the moving pieces of what it is. Like, not that it's weird to put it like, I feel like when you look at Judgment Day, it's cool, but like the Judgment Day now, like it almost like doesn't fit in a weird way. Not that it doesn't fit, like they work where they have chemistry and all that, but it's more so like why they're together is different than why we're together. If you look at like even Bullet Club, right? It's a different hiring process in a sense for that, and recruitment process. I think that there's sometimes there's factions that are started just from friendships. There's factions that started from just lineage of just like going up and down the road, being and sometimes it comes from hardship. For us, it's mission based. It's we're not necessarily like having Christmas parties together like other factions, right? But it's when it's time to go to work, we go to work. It's very much of like an assassin based type of operation. You don't see us outside together waving Contra flags and any sense of that, but anytime Contra needs to be called, Contra's there, and everyone. And also, I just also judged by the response. When Judgment Day's music hits, people roll their eyes because they got about to deal with some bullshit. When Contra music hits, everyone gets the F up and they put their hands up. Like that's the biggest difference in any of the factions. A lot of other factions like to talk. A lot of other factions like to plot about what they're gonna do. Contra just does it. Contra takes over like everything. And that's the idea where it's like, yes, we're under the MLW roof, but it's like Contra, but Contra, it's like it's on Contra's block though, and that's it, in that way. And the first stint with Contra, we didn't have all of this. We got about one, technically two titles left with that open weight title, but It's a different field because now people really can't deny it. We got 3 out of the 5 championships. Like, and if anyone is on the roster that's not trying to win gold, then what are they doing there? And I know everyone on that locker room is hungry. Every single one. We watched the top tier of women's wrestlers get knocked out. They've never been knocked out before. Janai knocks them out like it's nothing. And that's crazy to make somebody look like, oh damn, she got her ass kicked. Like that's not supposed. I mean, like these are not throwaway matches. These aren't women that don't know what they're doing. These are former champions. These are killers, and she is chopping their heads off. When me and Suzuki faced Kojima and Akamura, like it wasn't that hard. Like if you watch the match back, like yeah, like they got some vet stuff, so they know how to kind of get the upper hand in certain ways, but like we crushed them, like not they became like kind of quickly, and Kruger, if Akira's dumbass didn't get involved and things like that, we'd have the world title right now. Like that's just like that's just something where like they know. And I guess yeah, granted, Akira's probably the only one that I'll give him credit. He's the only one that has like the set to like really get in our business. But that's why no one's joining him because like they know. They know no one else, like everyone's standing up to the Judgment Day. Again, no disrespect to Judgment Day as a whole, but like no one's scared of the Judgment Day. They're ticked off by them. They're annoyed by them. They're a nuisance.
Yeah.
We're not a nuisance. We're a problem. I think you know what I mean. So I think that's the major distinction between us and other factions is like everyone hates us, but no one is like everyone's been sleeping with one light on since we got back together. And anyone who says they're not, they're lying to you because they're trying to. I mean, that's just that's because I know.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've got it right there, champion here in MLW. Um, you know, other than just having an incredible career, I believe you started around 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, started training.
You're still very young in this business, so already a multi-time champion. What do you feel like, not necessarily legacy, but what do you want to make sure that you get done in MLW? And that can be, carrying the flag, it can whatever, but just what's the most important thing for you in MLW?
Oh, I mean, again, like there's different levels of goals. I want to be the world champion because I want to be a professional wrestler. So I want to be a world champion. That's just like how it goes. If someone in Contra ends up holding the world title, then that's a different conversation. But I want to be world champion. I want these letters to represent something greater than when I started here. It was great. It was great before me. I want it to be better after me. That's something where I think that should be the goal of everybody. But that's my specific goal where I want to elevate these letters. I want to elevate these titles. I want to elevate Contra. I want to elevate myself. But I want when people hear MLW, it'd be really cool if people thought of me, right, in a selfish way. But I just want MLW to get a respect level where if someone walks out, with an MLW t-shirt, like, oh, I love MLW. That type of sense of it. I think we have some of, if not the hardest working locker room that I've ever, that I've ever been a part of. There are a lot of incredible locker rooms and rosters, but every single time I'm in an MLW locker room, I'm looking at people that I grew up idolizing. I look around people whose work that I respect so much. I look around people that have been everywhere that they said that they wanted to go to. I've seen people who not only live the life they want, but they have loving families who they are very much involved with. Stabilization with money and resources, things like that. The large picture of things is where I'm focused at right now to do all these things. I'm having a child of my own in January, so like being able to continue that legacy where my whole process is when my daughter is grown up, is she gonna want to, if she wants to marry someone like her dad, who is that guy gonna be? And that's my thing where I want to be the perfect example behind the curtain, in front of the curtain of everything. So it's always working. It's being cocky enough to know that you belong, but it's also being humble enough to know that there's always advice and there's always things you can learn, and that you got to be in that position to not only hear the advice, but be in a position where people care enough to give you that advice. And I think I've been doing a good job at being genuine and showing support for other people's work, but also other people's like status of like what they've been through and what they've done. So that's a huge thing for me, for my legacy to be, obviously be over with the fans in the sense where I've earned their respect through my work, because this shit hurts, right? But also have that understanding with my peers and people who I grew up watching, like, oh no, like you were meant to do this like I was, and you're good, and let me try to teach you this. Like where that I think that's the exclamation point with any relationship in wrestling, is when the wisdom is passed along. I think everyone's nice to each other. I think that's cool. Not that it's fake, but I think it's get general sense of like no one's trying to be a jerk, right? But there's different levels of like being cordial, and then there's also levels of like, no, like I think this kid deserves a secret right now. And not that it's a vault, but it's definitely an earned like little passcode you got to get in that sense. And I think I've done a great job by being able to learn some of those tools without kissing ass. I think that's a very important distinction, um, of people understanding how to read rooms. A lot of people don't know how to read rooms, so I think that's like I guess a positive part about MLW is that the room is always positive. No matter, there's no stupid questions in a sense.
So, well, congratulations on the upcoming uh, birth and child and all that stuff. That's awesome. Um, and it brings up the point that like wrestling seems a little different these days. It seems like that you can have both. You can travel and you can and still have a family and all that stuff. So, I think that brings us to just talking about these upcoming events that you have. You are going to be traveling all over. So we know that on November 9th, it's Lucha Apocalypto. That's coming straight to Chicago, which is an incredible wrestling town. And then One Shot, December 5th in your town in New York City. So what do you got going on for those shows? What are you excited about for those shows? It's around the holidays. Like, are you just getting pumped for those?
Yeah, it's I mean, for Contra, it's going to be good for sure. I mean, anyone that we're, I mean, it's going to be some sad Christmases probably for some other people, right? But no, like November 9th, Suzuki has Riddle. They're going one on one, so I'll be watching that. I'll leave that up to him if he wants me. If he wants me to come out with him, I'm right there. If not, he knows I'm watching. Um, as far as my action goes, I'm still waiting to hear word on exactly what's going on. But me again, we're always ready. The thing about Contra is like you can be not busy and extremely busy at the same time. Our heads are in everything, so that's something where I'm not really worried about that. I'm used to multitasking, and that in the grand scheme of it all. New York, man, whoever wants to step up, like honestly, like that's really what it comes down to. Like we were planned to defend the titles against Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas. That show got postponed, due to the hurricane. So technically, I mean, they have a title shot waiting for him. Alex Kane's a former world champ, so I'm not going to deny him that. If he wants to go at it one on one, I'm cool with that. If he wants to, if he wants a shot at these, I say, what better first title defense than a former world champion? So I'm totally down for that. So it's really just, again, it's a waiting game. It's being prepared for everybody. I think, and that's the thing where my confidence level meets logic, where um I'm never going to be the biggest dude on the roster. Like, I get that, you know what I mean? But I think people underestimate my strength, like, and my, ability to do certain things. But also, like, I'm very aware that like anyone who steps across from me has a heartbeat. Like, there's no one coming at me that can't that if I kick him in the right spot, they're gonna get knocked out. Everyone's legs break. Everyone's air supply, if it's cut off, they will pass out. So to me, like that's how I look at it. Like, yeah, if it's me and Kane, yeah, he's gonna throw me around. But at the same time, I've never seen anyone suplex anybody with two broken legs. So that's what that is, right? It can be Riddle. Riddle don't got shoes. I'll break his toe. I mean, it's like all, no matter what it is, like no matter what the threat is, like I can neutralize it. I think that's where like that's that's a big asset of what I do, where I'm 5'8", 5'9", and 6'10" at the same time in that ring. Like no one who's ever been in the ring with me has ever been like, okay, it's gonna be a light night. No, they train like I'm Thanos in that sense of it. Like because they know, they're like, well, yeah, I could probably pick him up here, or I could do this, but damn, but then what if he hits, like I can hit someone, like I can hit someone 10 times, and I could go ahead and go do my groceries, come back before they feel it. Like that's kind of how it goes. I'm not the prettiest one. You see guys like Mike Bailey, beautiful, beautiful form, things like that. I don't aim it to look pretty. I aim it to hurt you. And I think that's like a big distinction, where like someone says like, how would you describe your style? I'm like, I don't know, like Jason Bourne, I guess, in a sense of it, because of my discipline and what I'm trained to do. I'm trained to hurt people. I'm trained to put people down. I mean, like I do have some training in like how to, like, certain martial arts tournaments that I did, but I always enjoyed the combat spot, the combat part of it more than the forms of the technique and things of that nature. As far as like showmanship wise, you know what I mean? Like I could, yeah, I could do a 360 tornado kick, or I could punch you in the face, and I think that it's gonna be, he's gonna do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like one might look cooler on an 8x10, but I think me getting my hand raised is more important. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it in that sense of it. So, I'm again making long answers out of short questions. This is,
Hey, that's all right. So I know you got a lot going on. We just want to get you out of here, but I just want to say thank you again so much for joining us today. For those of you who have not checked it out yet, MLW.com, you can get on there, start to get your tickets for not only Lucha Apocalypto and One Shot, but there are other events coming up. Is there any way that you can let us know kind of where people can keep up with you? I know people at social media and all that stuff these days. Where can people keep an eye on you?
Yeah, I bet it's funny too with social media stuff. I feel like I'm the oldest young guy. Instagram and Twitter at Ikuro Kwon. And yeah, again, I love interacting. I love being able to showcase, like, again, like some personality through things and whatnot. I love feedback. I love interaction with things. I love when people, tag different promotions that maybe they would like to see the Concrete Dragon in, see Contra in, right? I love watching and hearing the support of MLW and people tuning in to see what's going on. So man, all of it, man. I appreciate all of it, and I hope that we can do this again, man. This is a great talk for sure. Whenever you want to do it again, man, I'm down.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm thinking we're gonna have to hit up one of these MLW shows. I'm right outside of the city, so I'm probably gonna be coming in on December 5th. So,
dude, that's perfect, man. Hell yeah, please. Definitely.
Yes.